last. Travel limits extended and outdoor exercise restrictions eased as our new roadmap out of lockdown is revealed. Golfers and skaters rejoice as outside gatherings remain the only way to socialise. Hairdressers booked out for weeks as they prepare to reopen, but hospitality and retail forced to wait. A blow to footy fans after the Premier banned grand final parties. The AFL boss arrives at the Brownlow where a Lion is hot favourite to star. And the Vixens dedicate their Super Netball grand final win to fans locked down in Victoria.
This is 9 News with Alicia Loxley.
Good evening. Melbourne's dark and deadly winter is finally making way for a summer to savour after the Premier announced our first tastes of freedom. From midnight, people will be able to move within 25 kilometres of their homes, exercise outdoors for as long as they want and go to the hairdresser. But cafes, pubs and retail outlets will have to wait another fortnight to reopen with limitations. And in a blow to footy fans, grand final parties and barbecues are off the menu next weekend. State political reporter Andrew Lund begins tonight's coverage.
The Premier's COVID roadmap may have hit a roadblock, so today a cautious half step on the path back to normal.
I'm not doing what's popular, I'm doing what's safe, because we don't want to be back here again.
From midnight tonight, there will be no time limit on leaving your home for socialising or exercising, and the 5-kilometre travel limit will be extended to 25.
We think that people will be able to avail themselves of the things that matter most to them and the things that they should be safely able to access with 25Ks.
Groups of up to 10 people from 2 households will be allowed to gather in public places. Golf courses, tennis courts and skate parks will be allowed to reopen. Outdoor pool capacity will be increased to 30 swimmers, while indoor pools can open for one-on-one hydrotherapy.
We remain nervous, but I'm confident we're going in the right direction. It's really clear that we've gone in the right direction for several weeks.
Outdoor auctions will be allowed with up to 10 people and staff. Outdoor maintenance, repairs, mobile pet grooming and photography will be allowed to resume, and hairdressers will reopen. But restaurants, cafes and retail will be forced to wait until November 1, although the Premier says that could be brought forward if case numbers stay low.
There is some optimism, a confidence even, that if things continue this week as they have the last 5 days, we may be able to bring that forward.
The longer it takes to reopen, the more businesses won't make it through, and of course that means we're going to lose jobs.
Also planned for November 1, the 4 reasons to leave home will be removed. 2 adults and their dependents will be allowed to visit a home once a day, and non-contact sport for adults can resume. Outdoor religious gatherings will be allowed for up to 20 people. Up to 10 people will be permitted at weddings and up to 20 at funerals. And outdoor seated entertainment venues will be able to host 50 people or 25% of the venue's fixed seat capacity. But today's announcement crushed hopes of any grand final get-togethers.
The teams that are in that grand final have had, well, arguably the most difficult season ever. They've followed the rules. They've been in quarantine. They've had all sorts of different restrictions placed on them, and we need to do the same.
Today, Victoria recorded 2 new cases, but with 4 others reclassified, the total dropped by 2 to 20,315. There are 137 active infections, with Melbourne's rolling 14-day average dipping to 7.5. There have been 15 mystery cases over the past 14 days, well above the target of 5. But those targets are no longer set in stone.
Are we still aiming for the 5 and 5 benchmarks for retail and hospitality to reopen? Is that what we've got to hit?
No. What we're looking to do is to move, because the numbers are so low, it becomes, as I've said, much more qualitative. What we have to do is look at each case. Of course, we want less rather than more. We want to stay in single digits, but we've got to look behind each of those.
The Premier gave us a roadmap back in September, and he's walked away from that on a regular basis. I think Victorians deserve a clear, laid-out plan for what's going to reopen and when.
Even as restrictions were being relaxed, another case was identified at Kilmore, with local health officials confirming a staff member at this bakery has tested positive.
We were pretty confident that we'd looked extremely hard for anyone who had had contact with that cafe and all of those who'd tested positive in Kilmore. So yes, it's surprising.
Despite that, more restrictions will be eased in regional Victoria, with police patrols to continue on the metropolitan border.
We will have freedom of movement within our state when it is safe to do that. But that is not now.
It's been a bumpy road out of lockdown, but the Premier's confident the end is now in sight.
We in Melbourne and across Victoria are well placed to have a COVID-safe summer and a COVID normal 2021.
And Andrew, where are we now on that roadmap?
Well, Alicia, it's a bit hard to say. We've taken a few detours. Today's planned move to the third step was initially set for next weekend, but having brought that forward and then adopted a hybrid step, retail and hospitality venues now find their reopening date pushed back by another week to next month, albeit with the prospect that might be brought forward by a couple of days. So you can understand their frustration. That said, today's announcement will allow thousands more people to go back to work, and the cautious approach isn't really a surprise. Given the government failures that led to this second wave, the Premier and his ministers are well aware of the need to get this right. The second lockdown has cost them a lot of political capital, and a third lockdown would be unthinkable. Alicia?
Yes, indeed. OK, Andrew Lund, thank you. Well, families are rejoicing over the removal of the 5 kilometre limit and are now able to reunite after months apart. But others have told Dougal Beattie the latest easing of social restrictions don't go far enough.
For nearly 3 months, the Saror family has waited for the moment they'll be able to be reunited with family from across the city.
We've got 2 boys and they miss their cousins a lot, so so it'd be good to really get them to spend some quality time together.
The boys eager to show off their new puppy.
I think he'll go hyper. He goes nuts when he meets new people.
They watched as the 2-hour limit for exercise and socialising was ditched and the 5 kilometre travel rule was extended to 25 kilometres.
Whilst we can't go to their house at the moment, we can just meet up in a convenient location, take the kids to the park maybe.
From 11:59 p.m. tonight, groups of up to 10 people from 2 households will be allowed to gather outdoors.
It's a big difference, meeting other people, exploring furthermore in the countryside as well.
Golfers have also been celebrating. For weeks, the course at Yarra Bend has been idle. From tomorrow, groups of 2 are once again allowed back on the greens.
It's really such a great environment to be part of because it's unusual to see so many happy people unless it's, your footy team's won a prelim final or something.
Tennis has also been given the green light, so too skate parks. Yeah! Skaters in Elwood were already taking advantage ahead of the official reopening.
I reckon it's overdue. I reckon they should have opened it when they opened the parks.
But others were left disappointed, arguing the initial social measures don't go far enough.
There's not enough virus around to restrict 5 million people to not being able to carry on their businesses and carry on their life normally.
I feel like it could have been slightly more generous. We've worked hard.
But some further relief is on the way. 2 weeks from now, the 4 reasons to leave home will be scrapped and households can have 2 adult visitors plus their dependents to the home per day, leaving the Premier to defend today's cautious half-step.
I've announced today what is safe but will not undermine the sacrifice, the hard work, the pain, the amazing efforts that Victorians have put in.
And Dougal joins me now live. Dougal, there'll be no change to face masks.
Face masks will be mandatory for the foreseeable future. That was the announcement from the Premier, Daniel Andrews, today. They will be required for a long time to come, even when gathering outdoors, and authorities say they still represent the best defence against the virus. Plenty of people here enjoying the sun this afternoon. Police will still be patrolling the area, but with groups of up to 10 now allowed, it might be a little bit tougher to regulate than before. Alicia?
ISO hairdos will become a distant memory from midnight, with salons finally able to get their scissors working again. Stephanie Anderson is in South Yarra tonight. Steph, the phone is already ringing hot with requests for appointments.
It absolutely is, Alicia. So much so, the team here at Joey Scandizzo Salon is going to start working from midnight. They're squeezing in a few special cuts as quickly as they're able, and this is the last-minute rush to get this newly refurbished salon ready for business. They've got the staff stacking the shelves, and you can probably hear that phone is quite literally ringing off the hook over on this side where the team's taking bookings. But right across the city, it has been a mixed bag of reaction from businesses as each and every one digests exactly what this next set of changes means for them. A head start for hairdressers getting their salons spick and span.
We're about 3 weeks booked up, so it's like going to be Christmas for the next 3 weeks for us.
But it's got beauty and personal care businesses questioning why they're not set up with the same deal, forced to stay closed until November 1.
It's kind of been this flip-flopping between us being grouped together and not. Every week at the moment really hurts.
Retailers are also working towards restarting in 2 weeks, many grateful for some sort of plan as they gear up for the festive season.
Christmas is always a really busy period and a lot of our organised shoppers start well before the 1st of November, so we'll be tight, but we'll get there.
10 people from 2 households will be able to exercise together from tonight, but Clayton Carey can only have 2 clients in his boot camps until at least November 1.
Incredibly frustrating.
And a date to reopen his gym isn't even mentioned in the government's latest roadmap.
I do wonder why the health services are the last to be opened, as this not only promotes physical health, it promotes mental health as well.
For anyone planning home renos, outdoor work can resume from tonight, with non-essential maintenance and repairs again allowed at occupied homes, including house painting and pool cleaning.
There is still very much disappointment for those people that can't do renovations on work inside occupied premises.
And like many Melburnians, publicans Ben and Bill Perry were glued to the Premier's news conference.
I had low expectations and they've been met.
Still closed to on-site diners until Sunday week and restricted to just 20 people inside and 50 outdoors when they are given the green light to open. These frustrated operators say the government is overreaching because the hospitality industry is more than ready to restart.
Business have borne the brunt of their negligence. We will battle through this. We'll open under these restrictions. That won't be ideal, but we'll do it.
Stephanie Anderson, 9 News.
Footy fans have been denied the opportunity to watch next Saturday night's grand final with friends at home. While the decision has been greeted with some disappointment, there's encouraging signs for the Melbourne Cup Carnival. Clint Stanaway explains.
Victoria might be in the final quarter of its COVID fight, but when it comes to celebrating grand final day, the Premier isn't playing ball.
Your household and only the members of your household. That's how grand final day has to be.
It means next Saturday night's Gabba Decider will be a stay-at-home affair. No visitors, no parties, although up to 10 people can still gather outdoors.
I'm appealing to people, as significant as the day is, it's got to be different. It has got to be different.
And for footy fans, it stings.
It's really unfortunate that we can't watch it, as a group.
Love the barbie, love the beers, love the boys.
Oh, I'm sure we'll have a Zoom call. That's just sort of traditional these days.
It's also a blow to Melbourne's pubs, many of which had planned to have small crowds outside watching the Tigers and the Cats fight for the premiership on giant screens.
The community don't want to be watching Richmond in their living room. They want to be watching it in our beer garden under the big screen, enjoying a lovely cold pot.
Hawthorn President Jeff Kennett is irate. We lost the football season and the grand final because he failed. Now he will not allow any celebrations. What a sadness for those who have a team in the GF.
This is going to be probably the worst grand final Victorians have ever seen.
But in the most unique of years, everyone's been forced to make sacrifices.
Hopefully we can finish it off well. As I said, get that Premiership Cup, take it back to Geelong and celebrate with our fans.
But there is a glimmer of hope for the Melbourne Cup Carnival. It kicks off with Derby Day here at Flemington on October 31st. And all going well, there could be a small number of punters permitted trackside. The VRC says it's made a submission to the state government and that Cup Week will proceed, small crowds or not. As for the footy, the Premier isn't willing to hedge his bets.
At the start of the visit, there's one person with coronavirus. At the end of the visit, everyone's got it.
Clint Stanaway, 9 News.
Well, it is, of course, Brownlow Medal Night, but not as we know it, with Charlie to be awarded in very unique circumstances. Let's go live now to Alicia Muelling, who's at the Gabba tonight. Alicia, how will it work?
Well, Alicia, I've got to tell you, we are a very long way away from Crown Casino and all the glitz and the glamour. So we're in a hallway in the Gabba. This is where the players will actually go and watch the vote from tonight. So this is one of 6 locations that players will come and listen to the votes at the Adelaide Oval, the SCG, Metricon Stadium, Optus Stadium, and also here at the Gabba. So a small group of players will be here tonight. Of course, the favourite, Lockie Neal, will be in attendance. He's had a brilliant season so far this year, but obviously bitterly disappointed with last night's loss. So Geelong winning that game by 40 points. Christian Petrarca, the Melbourne midfielder, will also be in attendance here. He is a sneaky chance. So the votes will be read from Metricon Stadium tonight. Gillon McLaughlin will have those honours, and that is where we find Ed and Woolley.
Thanks, Alicia. Well, at least you've got some carpet there. We're on a largely empty service road here outside Metricon Stadium, so a far cry from the hustle and bustle of the normal red carpet. The players have begun arriving in vans tonight. Some Richmond players, the first to arrive. The vote's also being read from here tonight by Gillon McLaughlin. As you mentioned, everyone, Gill himself, embracing this very different occasion. Well, Gill, it's all a bit different this year, but you're still dressed up for the occasion tonight?
Well, black tie, yeah. It's warm and I'm looking different, virtual, but I'm looking forward to it. We made the decision a month ago. Now it seems normal because I've known about it for a month, and it's sort of that's all I've sort of been thinking about. So I had a practice this morning. Set looks great.
You know, the red carpet's usually out and there's cameras everywhere, and obviously it's a Crown and not a Metricon, so it's a bit different.
Now, there have been some extra measures put in place here at Metricon Stadium because we do have the 2 grand final teams in attendance. There's a clean entry for both Richmond and Geelong, who'll have their own room tonight. That's separate from the non-footy bubble players. We're looking to talk to some of those guys a little later in sport.
Great stuff, Ed, and we look forward to it. We'll see you very soon. Well, the Premier has launched a scathing attack on the federal government after revealing 55 New Zealand travellers have entered Victoria, the latest next. Plus, exclusive data reveals the political impact of the pandemic and an ancient cat drawing found on a hillside.
The block goes upstairs to a new world of future living.
It's stunning.
The must-have home offices.
Work from home. It is the new normal.
Set amongst the trees.
Talk about taking advantage of your surrounds.
Magical retreats for all the family.
Whoa!
And secrets in the attic.
I love a secret door.
It's the Sunday reveals.
Would you like to play the Lego gnome?
With one
I can't watch.
nail-biting surprise.
The whole of Australia will hate you.
Next on 9.
It lives at first light. And at the last dish. It lives wherever we push ourselves. When we pull together. It lives over the door. At the end of every paintbrush. At the start of every something. Every beginning. It lives in going for a 6, where a 4 would have done it. It lives after the dust has settled. After the sun has set. And the kids have gone to bed. Where you break yourself before you break a promise. And knowing that even the smallest things can lead to something big. It lives in every square inch of this place. And because we live here, Can lives here.
Experience the delicious intensity of Lindt excellence. By the Lindt Master Chocolatier.
Tresemme bottles are now made with Australian recycled plastics and are recyclable. Tresemme, the same professional quality, restyled for the planet.
Get your Woolies worth for the footy finals with big savings on game day faves, like Schweppes mixer varieties just $2.62 for 300ml 4-packs. That's half price.
That's why I pick Woolies.
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. I love it.
9 News, brought to you by KFC. Still open and still frying. Get your KFC contact free today.
A woman has been killed and a man seriously injured after their car flipped at Beveridge, north of Melbourne. Witnesses saw the vehicle weaving across to the wrong side of the road and driving erratically before it clipped an embankment around 7 p.m. The male passenger was cut free and flown to hospital with arm and leg injuries. The driver died at the scene. A war of words over the New Zealand travel bubble has escalated. Daniel Andrews today revealed 55 Kiwis entered Victoria on Friday instead of the 17 initially reported. More from Lana Murphy.
As the second plane load of passengers arrived into Sydney from New Zealand, authorities made it clear Victoria is off limits.
So I was asked here, and Qantas also called me beforehand to let me know.
There was questions about travelling into other states and talking about the actual laws.
24 hours earlier, it was a different story. A group of passengers boarding a connecting flight to Melbourne, landing and leaving the airport with no questions asked.
You know how yesterday I said there were 17? Turned out there's 55 that have turned up from New Zealand. So this is gold standard, apparently, according to the federal government. Gold standard.
So far, only 23 have been found.
This list of who's here, right, we're ringing them. One of them was in Byron Bay, and yet we were told they'd landed and travelled to Melbourne.
The lashing didn't go unchallenged.
The Victorian government was present when it was discussed. They were made aware that this was going to occur. They raised no objections in the meetings.
I was not there for the beginning, and I was not there for that part of the conversation.
The internal borders are up to state governments.
Victoria's borders are open, but the Premier has now had to write to the Prime Minister to clarify that that does not include onward travellers. He's also requested an extension on the ban of international arrivals until mid-November. And to ensure this doesn't happen again, there'll now be a stronger border force presence here at Tullamarine.
Well, we can't have people just wandering into the place from another country. It's New Zealand today. Who knows what the next bubble is with?
Lana Murphy, 9 News.
3 men have faced court charged over the stabbing of a teenager outside a 7-Eleven in Werribee at 1:30 this morning. Police allege the victim was attacked with a knife after having his bag, watch, phone and car keys stolen. He was taken to the Royal Melbourne Hospital in a stable condition. The accused, aged between 19 and 26, have been remanded in custody. Leading through a pandemic is proving positive for Scott Morrison's popularity. Political editor Chris Uhlmann tells us private research shows a collapse in Labor's primary vote in key marginal seats.
The leaders of the two major parties look like they're fighting a federal election campaign.
Nice to meet you.
Against the backdrop of factories, workers, even babies. Both hammering the same message.
The jobs not just today but for the future.
Creating Australian jobs.
But it's the government that's benefited most from pandemic politics.
There's a real identification with Scott Morrison and his leadership and with the government through this process.
A research company with experts drawn from both major parties has been tracking the public mood. 2 ultra-marginal New South Wales seats were polled, Macquarie and Dobell. A majority in both back eliminating the virus and keeping the borders closed over opening the economy and living with the risk. And both overwhelmingly want the border with Victoria to stay shut. The polling has good news for Scott Morrison.
What people are seeing is hope. Hope in the budget.
And bad news for Anthony Albanese.
They're kinds of seats where there may be some trouble brewing.
Both Labor seats strongly trust Scott Morrison over Anthony Albanese to keep them safe, to lead the economic recovery and to protect and create jobs. Simon Welsh says research in New South Wales and Queensland shows the government is connecting with workers.
Things like JobKeeper and the budget has sort of put them in the court of those working class voters in those key electorates in New South Wales and Queensland.
Remarkably, both Labor seats believe the Liberals better represent the needs of working Australians. And if an election was held tomorrow, the government would win both on first preferences because the poll shows a catastrophic fall in Labor's primary vote. If repeated at a federal election across New South Wales and Queensland, it would be a wipeout.
This would be an existential crisis for the Federal Labor Party.
Labor has struggled for relevance during the pandemic, which is why the party is convinced the Prime Minister will seize the advantage and call an election next year. Even if it comes early, there's a long way to go until these two men meet at a federal election, and fortunes can change swiftly. But at this stage, the government's big gun will take some beating. Chris Ullman, 9 News.
Students and parents have placed flowers outside the classroom of a French school teacher who was beheaded. Police have revealed an 18-year-old man of Chechen origin waited near the school asking pupils to point out his target.
We will need time to gather. We will need time to think about what happened and to do what we do the best, educate children.
47-year-old Samuel Paty was attacked after showing his class cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad. Archaeologists in Peru have discovered the outline of a huge cat on a hillside in the country's south. The 37-metre creature was found near the world-famous Nazca Lines, home to many ancient geoglyphs, which are drawings that are etched into desert sand. Quite incredible. Well, Madeline Slattery is here with us now with all of the weather details, and it was a cooler day today, Maddie.
That's right, it was, Alicia. A combination of chilly southerly winds and mostly cloudy skies meant Melbourne shivered through the coldest Sunday in 3 weeks. After an overnight low of 11 degrees, the city only climbed another 4 during the day, and our top of 15 degrees is 5 colder than the October average. But the feels-like temperature was below 10 for most of the day. So the cool and cloudy conditions are thanks to southwesterly winds blowing across the state with a high in the Bight. There hasn't been much rain recorded today. However, Friday and Saturday were very wet for parts of the state, particularly in the northeast. These are some of our 48-hour rainfall totals to 9 a.m. Mount Hotham received 112 millimetres. There was 96 millimetres at Falls Creek and 69 fell at Mount Buller. Now, skies are looking much clearer over the next few days under this area of high pressure. It'll be a bit warmer too. I'll have our 7-day outlook later in the bulletin, Alicia.
All right, Maddie, we look forward to it. We'll see you soon. Jacinda Ardern's approach to the pandemic has paid off, with the Prime Minister claiming a historic election win. The details are next. Plus, 3 hurt in a shopping centre explosion and what led to this soggy mess in Northcote.
A joint 60 Minutes, The Age and Sydney Morning Herald investigation.
So why do you think these authorities are targeting you?
Ask them, don't ask me. Is about to expose the secret bank being used to rip off Aussies for millions.
Are you making an allegation? Why?
It's all
I dare you.
about
I'm not allowed to discuss it.
to blow up
Stop it. That's it. I'm done. No more questions.
in their face.
Interview's over.
Plus, has political correctness gone too far?
You're like a very naughty boy.
On 60 Minutes.
For me, the intensity starts early and keeps building. It can be full on. The heat, the orders, the pressure from the boss. For tough pain relief, my go-to is Panadol Extra. Because if I don't, with my migraine headaches, I'm kind of useless in the kitchen. And I don't want to let the crew down.
Service?
I really love these guys. And it's good to know you can still help out the people who need you. Together, let's rethink care.
At Carpet Call, we've got new shipments of rugs to clear from our warehouses. Choose one of our latest design fashion rugs and take 50% off the ticketed price on our website. Jump onto carpetcall.com.au now for 50% off rugs.
You can't go past IGA for hundreds of low prices right across the store, like Nescafe Blend 43 coffee 250 gram $10.75 and Golden Circle Juice 2 litre varieties $3. Low prices at your local IGA.
As part of BHP's Training and Local Business Support Program, we are pleased to announce the BHP Apprenticeship Pledge to create 3,500 new apprenticeships and training positions across Australia over the next 5 years.
Bill Busters, your chance to win a grand, soon on 9 News.
Time for a place near the park? See the possibilities on Domain.
Everyone knows Australia has 4 big banks, but the 5th biggest retail bank is regularly voted one of the most trusted brands in Australia, looks after more than 1.8 million customers and can be found in over 500 locations nationwide. So try Bendigo Bank, the better big bank.
Victoria, every test we take helps.
Get back to cricket training.
And go to work safely.
So even if your symptoms are mild,
or you've been tested before,
every test helps.
Authorised by the Victorian Government, Melbourne.
New tortilla pockets are ready for takeoff. And we are go!
Launching to mess-free Mexican with new tortilla pockets from All Del Paso.
All new episodes. All new twist. The new season of Hot Seat. Weekdays on 9.
A man was seriously wounded in a stabbing at Stawell in Victoria's West. A 37-year-old man is behind bars, charged over the incident at the Black Range Caravan Park yesterday afternoon and will face court tomorrow. The victim is in a serious but stable condition at the Alfred Hospital. An unsupervised learner driver left a soggy mess in Northcote when he crashed into a power pole, a gas main, fire hydrant and shop window early this morning. The force of the High Street crash caused the hydrant to burst, sending water spraying metres into the air. The 20-year-old man from Epping is expected to be charged on summons. Jacinda Ardern has made history after her Labor Party recorded a landslide victory in New Zealand's election. The 40-year-old was rewarded for her handling of the COVID-19 pandemic with almost 50% of the vote. Charles Croucher has more.
The New Zealand Prime Minister's political posse significantly larger this morning.
I only have two simple words. Thank you.
A landslide of red. Jacinda Ardern's Labor Party securing 49% of the vote, translating to 64 of the 120 seats in New Zealand's parliament.
We always knew it was going to be tough, didn't we?
The thumping result, securing a parliamentary majority, a first for the country since electoral reforms in 1996.
I do think they were endorsing the plan we have to go forward. There are some areas that we do want to crack on with.
Ms Ardern's global stardom bringing well wishes from leaders around the world. From UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, congratulations, the UK and NZ have great things to look forward to in the future. Canadian leader Justin Trudeau touching on her fight to tackle climate change and empower girls. Even the Dalai Lama praising her success. I admire the courage, wisdom and leadership she has shown in these challenging times. Our leader passing on his congratulations privately.
Scott Morrison was very quick off the bat last night, but also reminded me of our wager today on the rugby.
But now with a second term to serve, Jacinda Ardern will need more than international praise. New Zealand is in recession. The next 3 years, crucial for the country's recovery. Charles Croucher, 9 News.
Donald Trump has defied health advice to hold rallies in 2 states hardest hit by COVID-19 infections. Despite America passing 8 million cases, the president claims the country is rounding a corner. He also took aim at rival Joe Biden, accusing him of being a criminal. An explosion has flattened a shopping centre in Virginia, injuring at least 3 people. It's not clear what caused the blast, but investigators suspect a gas leak sparked it. Several shops were destroyed. Melburnians will have their first taste of freedom from midnight with travel limits extended and gathering restrictions eased. We'll cross live next. Plus, how regional Victoria will take another step forward and the colourful characters making spring cleaning fun.
This is the story of the most powerful man in the world.
It was ridiculous that he was an agent of Russia, that he urinated on a bed.
Told by those who were by his side.
He said, tap on the window. They're bulletproof. Isn't that cool?
The explosive expose that trumps all others.
So what happens when a lunatic, crazy person becomes president?
The Trump Show, Tuesday after the block on 9.
Who are you backing in the Ladbrokes greatest ever Cox Plate? Winx or Farlap? So you think, or Might and Power? Watch the running of the race this Friday night on your Ladbrokes app. Ladbrokes, back yourself.
With McDelivery, Macca's comes to you, so you can enjoy it at home, fast, safe and contact-free. Search Macca's website for your local delivery partner.
I thought my teeth were clean, but my dentist said no, they're still plaque. Switch your brush from this to one with a rounded brush head.
Oral-B is rounded to reach between teeth and gums, gently removing plaque for healthier gums.
Oral-B, brush like a pro.
Here's to the messy ones, to all the mess makers and mess masters. We say, bless this mess. Let the LG Cord Zero take care of it, wherever it ends up. Our compressor technology means that however you mess it, simply compress it. Enjoy long run time, easy storage, and powerful suction. LG Cord Zero with compressor technology.
With Cabot, you can finish your deck in a day, so you can get back to the things that matter most. Finish in one day with Cabot's.
Help keep your energy costs down. Switch to Energy Australia on Total Plan and get a guaranteed total energy bill discount. Plus, for a limited time, get an extra $50 off your first electricity and first gas bills. Join today.
Here's to the ones who make life taste better. The farmers, the roasters, and the never give uppers. One thing's for sure. You can't help being inspired by them. Because those who make a real difference are the ones who make an impact. The ones who make our coffee taste better. Introducing Nescafe Farmers Origins. Approved for Nespresso machines.
Superstar runners from across eras are coming together for one unmissable race. The Ladbrokes Greatest Ever Cox Plate. Watch the running of the race this Friday night at 8:30 on your Ladbrokes app. Ladbrokes. Back yourself.
Get your Woolies worth on game day faves, like Australian RSPCA approved hot roast chicken, just $10 each.
That's why I pick Woolies.
The man who pulled sword from stone.
Charlie Hunnam and Jude Law. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. Tonight on 9Go.
Melbourne's next step out of lockdown has been revealed, but not everyone has been included. Andrew Lunn joins me again. Andrew, the Prime Minister has weighed in.
Yes, Alicia. Scott Morrison has put out a statement along with Federal Treasurer Josh Frydenberg and Health Minister Greg Hunt, urging the Andrews government to actively consider bringing forward the reopening of hospitality and retail. They have been, of course, some of the loudest critics of the Andrews government's lockdown exit strategy. They estimate it's costing around 1,000 jobs a day. But Daniel Andrews isn't making any apologies for his cautious approach. As it stands, he says retail and hospitality will be able to reopen on the 1st of November, although if he says case numbers stay low, that might be able to happen a few days earlier. From tonight, though, Melburnians' 5-kilometre travel limit will be extended out to 25 kilometres and the 2-hour time limit will be scrapped. The outdoor gathering cap will be lifted to 10 people from 2 households. Hairdressers will be allowed to reopen and outdoor repairs and maintenance will be allowed to resume, along with a few other changes. So, Alicia, a bit of a baby step out of lockdown, but more changes to come.
Absolutely. OK, Andrew Lunn, thank you. Well, regional Victorians are now even closer to COVID normal. A number of restrictions will be eased soon, with some changes taking effect tomorrow. Maggie Rayworth has the details.
The Premier praised regional Victorians as he further eased their restrictions.
Every regional Victorian can be proud that we've got the numbers low, we've opened up quite substantially and we've kept those numbers low. And that should be a point of pride.
From 11:59 tonight, 2 people will be allowed to visit a home once a day. Hospitality capacity increases to 40 patrons inside and 70 outside. 20 worshippers will be allowed to attend outdoor religious gatherings. 20 aged under 18 can swim at indoor pools. Libraries can reopen with a limit of 20 visitors, while households can visit care facilities instead of just one person at a time. From 11:59 on November 1, 20 people younger than 18 can take part in non-contact indoor recreation, with 1 spectator permitted to attend. That freedom is something the Premier is vowing to protect.
On that ring of steel and the border remains in place and I have no changes to those arrangements. In fact, we are probably, what's fair to say, we are strengthening that.
But that is crippling some businesses. Those in the tourism industry say they're struggling. Visitors from interstate and metropolitan Melbourne make up the majority of bookings, and businesses need to know when they can return.
We need a date for the travel restrictions to cease. We need to know well in advance because yet again, third time round, we're going to have to start issuing refunds.
Those who can cross the Ring of Steel include Melburnians who own a house in regional Victoria. From October 21, they can visit to prepare their properties for floods and fire, but will need council approval first. Maggie Rayworth, 9 News.
Hundreds of spring cleaners have hit Melbourne streets for a little spruce up. Volunteers across 52 postcodes collected bottles, cans, straws and other pieces of litter. This year, discarded masks were a big feature of the clean-up. More than a tonne of rubbish has been removed, and that doesn't include recyclables. All right, time for sport now, and here is Clint Stanaway.
Good evening to you, Alicia. Thank you very much. After the break in sport, the Brownlow favourites have just arrived ahead of the big night. Here's Alicia Muelling.
Clint, it is finally all happening here at the Gabba. Brisbane's Lockie Neal has arrived, so too Melbourne's Christian Petrarca. We will hear from both of those players next.
Thanks, Alicia. We'll see you soon. Also coming up, Gary Senior's wise words as the Cats take aim at the Cup. The Queens of Netball, our Vixens, reign supreme on Grand Final day, and a winning farewell for Holden at Bathurst.
Bill Busters 2.0. For your chance to win $1,000, you'll need tonight's code word. Baking. Enter now at 9news.com.au/BillBusters. Bill Busters, helping Victoria out of COVID. Face of fear. A mum smashed by a drunk driver.
2 broken hands, 2 broken legs. Back broken.
Blind Freddie can see she's in pain, but the insurer's doctor says she's okay. Plus, water torture, living in faulty towers.
Can't do your washing, can't run your dishwasher.
The new development where every day is a bad hair day.
There's no water to brush your teeth or have a shower.
The taps just trickle.
Not to have a shower, I think it's prehistoric.
A current affair Monday.
Tonight, I'll be eating a veggie cheeseburger on ciabatta. No tomatoes.
Tonight, I'll be eating 4 cheese tortellini with extra tomatoes.
So it's come to this. Thank you.
Bravo.
Careful, Hamill. Daddy's not here to save you.
Oh, I am my daddy. Wait, what?
What are you talking about?
That's the one for you.
There's too many choices. I'm going to filter through these fillies fast.
You know you can select more than one filter.
Find your perfect match to your form preferences with Ned's Filter Form. Take it to the Ned's level.
The Bathurst 1000 broke our heart, which is why we're selling off everything that reminds us of them. Like these K&N Performance air filters, 30% off. And export aerosol paint, 4 for $11.99. Oh, the memories.
Is that your dog?
It's the neighbour's dog. Will my insurance cover this?
Budget Direct would have provided you with temporary accommodation for up to a year while they repaired it.
Budget Direct. Insurance solved.
Shop online at Amart Furniture for affordable and stylish furniture. Like this cute bench, only $149, and this accent chair and stool set, only $329. Visit amart.com.au.
Thank you for taking a race for a fabled golden watch and making an event that stops time. Thank you for your deafening cheers and unbowing enthusiasm. To make history, it takes more than the passing of time. It takes a cast of thousands to make the greatest show. So for your devotion, we give you ours. Forever yours, the Melbourne Cup Carnival.
I'd like a bar of chocolate, please. Happy birthday, Mum.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Fellas, don't forget your punter's toolbox.
Where I can boost the odds on my bet and heaps more in 3 easy steps.
Unleash your Ned's Punter's Toolbox. It's punting made easy. Take it to the Ned's level.
A glance at your phone is the same as this. When you're on your phone, you're driving blind.
Brisbane midfielder Loxley is bracing for a nervous few hours with the Brownlow medal to be awarded later tonight in Queensland. Alicia has just spoken with a few of the fancies for tonight's medal. Alicia, how are they all feeling?
Well, Clint, I think they're feeling pretty relaxed ahead of tonight's vote. The dress code is quite casual, but I must say that a lot of the wives and partners have dressed up looking absolutely beautiful tonight. We've seen Christian Petrarca and his partner arrive, Taylor Adams from Collingwood, also Jack Crisp, and of course Loxley Neal, the favourite tonight, who we spoke to just a short time ago and who admitted that he was feeling pretty flat following last night's 40-point loss to Geelong. Another player that we had a chat to is Melbourne midfielder Christian Petrarca, who commented on that there has been a few rumours circulating that he might be one of the favourites tonight.
Yeah, there's a few text messages going around. Every group chat I'm in with a few mates have been sending it through, so I think they're trying to make a few more bucks. So no, I haven't. I think it's all a bit of nonsense. So yeah,
I'm wearing a suede jacket from Ted Baker, and yeah, I'm very pleased with how it turned out.
So you might be able to see behind me some of the wives and the girlfriends looking absolutely stunning as they prepare for tonight's vote. So it is about to get underway in about an hour's time, Clint.
Fashions and footy. Thank you, Alicia Muelling. There's been a host of arrivals at Metricon Stadium too, among them grand final combatants Richmond and Geelong. Let's return now to Ayrton Woolley. Ayrton, those Tigers, they're already looking the goods, aren't they?
They certainly are, Clint. In fact, everyone's looking a little different tonight. Patrick Dangerfield just walked in a few moments ago wearing a fully white suit tonight, so a different look from Danger, but it was Trent Cotchin and Dustin Martin who arrived a short time ago. Cotchin, designated driver tonight for Dusty, so the Tigers are arriving in style. A number of other players also here. Tom Liberatore was wearing a fairly different suit tonight, so I guess sticking with the theme here at Metricon Stadium, but all eyes on the two grand finalists, Geelong and Richmond. They'll be in separate rooms tonight. Of course, the grand final next week.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's always harder coming to these events on the back of, a loss, as we did a couple of years ago.
So much of the build-up too about Gary Ablett. He's spoken at length today, and he's certainly looking forward to the grand final in what will be his final game. For the past fortnight, Gary Ablett has had to prepare as if he could be playing his final match. Now he knows it, so it's perhaps fitting one of the game's greats will get a grand final farewell.
I'm really excited. I've been blessed throughout the last 19 years just to play the game for that long. I'm hoping I can go out in a high.
While his role is a touch different these days, the Little Master wound back the clock against Brisbane last night.
Ablett has kicked the second third quarter goal.
Yeah, that's what we said in the box, just knock it over, Gary. Yeah, sort of, there's a sense of deja vu there. It was almost, well, we've seen this before.
It comes after perhaps the most difficult period of his career from a personal perspective, with Ablett stepping away from footy to focus on the health of son Levi before relaunching his campaign inside the AFL's transition hub.
It has been a challenging year, there's no doubt about that. There's a lot of people that have made sacrifices so that I can be up here playing football again. And
it's already been an emotional week for some of his teammates too. For Cam Guthrie, these were tears of joy and relief. But the focus quickly turns to Richmond, a team that kept the Cats to just one goal in 3 quarters back in round 17.
It confirmed how good they were. I've got to be honest, there was a little bit of a sense during the year that maybe these guys weren't quite where they had been in previous years. That game sort of snuffed that out a little bit.
As for Ablett, now 11 years since his last grand final and 3 decades since following his famous father to the footy, there will be time for one final piece of advice.
He'll tell me to go out and enjoy myself, have fun, do your best, and that's all you can do.
On the Gold Coast, Ayrton Woolley, 9 News.
Unlike their lead into the 2019 grand final, Richmond enjoys a clean bill of health this time around, and for midfielder Jack Graham, there's unfinished business, having missed that premiership after an injury in the prelim.
It was a bit of a relief once the siren had gone and I was all in one piece compared to last year. So, yeah, it's an amazing feeling and a great opportunity to play in another grand final.
The Tigers are currently favourites to capture their 3rd premiership in 4 years. The Melbourne Vixens are tonight celebrating their maiden Super Netball title after what was a pulsating 2-goal win over West Coast in Brisbane. Corey Norris has those highlights.
93 days away from home, but this was some reward.
Melbourne Vixens, the one trophy that has eluded them is now theirs.
And a celebration that will continue long into the night.
I don't
don't even think it's sunk in yet, but holy crap.
A fairy tale finish to the career of shooter Caitlin Thwaite, who had her radar tuned in from the get-go.
The first Suncorp super shot.
As expected, the contest was fierce and just as tense on the scoreboard, with West Coast stealing the lead at half-time.
This would be huge! Look at the celebration from Janelle Fowler.
Some final term nerves threatened to end the Vixens' charge. 2 goals down with 4 minutes remaining. Thwaites kept her cool from long range.
This will bring the house down, and it will!
The defenders also held up their end of the bargain, with player of the match and Kamwenda sealing the result.
And this could very well cement their premiership.
And with that trophy finally in their hands, dedicated this sweet victory to those back home in Victoria.
We know that it's been really, really hard for you, and we can't wait to get home and just, give you all a huge big hug.
Corey Norris, 9 News.
Yeah, well done, Vixens. Meanwhile, Shane van Gisbergen, he is the new King of the Mountain, teaming up with veteran Garth Tander to claim the Bathurst 1000. The pair delivering Holden a fitting farewell to Mount Panorama. Luke Duffy has today's action.
Drivers were bracing for rain, but national pride was the only thing falling from the sky pre-race. A dry track, perfect for a fast start.
This is the 2020 Super Team Auto Bathurst 1000.
Pole sitter Cam Waters let co-driver Will Davison begin the race and paid the price. Defending champion Scott McLaughlin stealing the lead. The mountain's first victims were the grid's most experienced team.
Oh no, he doesn't! Windcup has made a massive mistake.
Jamie Whincup unable to rein in his Red Bull. He and Craig Lowndes reduced to spectators after 33 laps. Debutant Jordan Boys learned he has a long way to go before he's a mountain man.
Oh, he set it up too far on the curb there.
The promised rain finally arrived, and wet track specialist Shane van Gisbergen took control, overtaking McLaughlin and Davison, becoming the new race leader. 2 more safety cars kept things tight to the end.
And this is what happened to Forward at the same time. Bang!
But van Gisbergen was flawless under pressure, breaking through for his first Bathurst crown.
Shane van Gisbergen takes victory at Mount Panorama.
Just awesome, man. The last few laps were really tough with the safety cars, but the team did a faultless job. Car got better all weekend, so thanks to my guys. We had a great car and great way to send out Holden.
Luke Duffy, 9 News.
Very different Brownlow medal tonight.
Isn't
Thoughts
it?
on the fashions?
What about those suits, the white one? You've got one like that, don't you?
Actually, Paddy's got it because I lent it to him.
Lovely. You wear it better.
Oh, thanks, Lee. Yes,
thank you, Clint. Well, Maddie is back with us now with more on the weather, and there's some warmer days ahead, Maddie.
There are indeed, Alicia. There'll be more sunshine too, which will be very welcome after a pretty grey and cool weekend. I'll have all the details on the week ahead after the break.
It's the Sunday reveals.
It's stunning.
With one
I can't watch.
nail-biting surprise.
The whole of Australia will hate you.
On Today, escape 2020 with the ultimate getaway prize. Now you can make your own Aussie adventure with a brand new Toyota Prado and Jayco Caravan.
To win, text your full name and address, including suburb, state and postcode to 199599900. Enter as many times as you like. To find out more, watch the Today Show this week.
Incredible bladder protection in a pad this thin? I didn't think it would work, but it does. It's called Always Discreet for bladder leaks. A super absorbent core turns liquid to gel. I know I'm wearing it, but no one else will. Always Discreet for bladder leaks.
It's tough out there, Australia. Every cent counts. Make sure your insurance is about where you're at right now. You could save lots. Yui, you insured. It's car and home insurance for individuals like you.
Can one little light bulb change the world? That depends on how many of us change one little light bulb. IKEA.
People are not like cars. Cars are easy. You put them in drive and they go. People are complicated. Cars don't have confusing rituals. Cars don't get all emotional. Cars don't have teenagers. I think that was the car. At My Car, we don't just look after cars, we look after the people who drive them. My Car Tyre and Auto. People first.
As part of BHP's new training and local business support program, BHP has announced a $780 million investment to support new apprenticeships, training and business opportunities across Australia over the next 5 years.
At Beaumont Tiles October floor tile event, buy 3 floor tiles and the next floor tile is absolutely free. And with samples to your door, you'll be happy you chose Beaumont's October floor tile event.
Core of my heart, my country, land of the rainbow gold, for flood and fire and famine. She pays us back threefold. Over the thirsty paddocks, watch after many days the filmy veil of greenness that thickens as we gaze.
Sigrid Thornton, Jack Thompson and Kirk Douglas in one of the most iconic Australian movies ever. Man from Snowy River, tonight on 9Gem.
First in the world's toughest race, a record 12 times. First with Super Select 4-wheel drive. First with a plug-in hybrid electric SUV. And now, Australia's first 10-year warranty with 10 years cap price servicing for more confidence than ever before. Mitsubishi Diamond Advantage, built and backed to the time of your life.
Hello again. Well, it was a cool and mostly cloudy end to the weekend across Melbourne. After an overnight low of 11, the city climbed to a top of just 15 degrees, which is 5 colder than the October average. But for most of the day, the feels-like temperature was below 10 degrees thanks to chilly southerly winds. Maximums right around town struggled to reach the mid-teens and were more like what we'd expect in the middle of winter. It was just 11 degrees in Ferny Creek and Kilmore today, 13 degrees at Tullamarine and 14 in Frankston and Rosebud. The cool weather extended statewide and most of southern Victoria was under a blanket of cloud all day. Ballarat only reached 12 degrees and Hamilton and Wilson's Prom only made it to 13. The high in the Bight has been directing the cool winds and clouds across the southeast of the country today, but the bulk of the wet weather we've seen over the last few days has now moved into New South Wales and Queensland with a trough and front. The high will move further east tomorrow and that'll keep skies mostly clear and dry and winds will ease. A weak front will pass across the far southeast of the country and that'll increase cloud a little in the morning and there's the chance of a few showers. In the west and north, troughs will deliver showers and storms to the Territory, Western Australia. But due to recent rain, there's several flood warnings in place, including a minor flood warning for the Kiewa River and the Ovens River at Wangaratta may see minor river flooding tomorrow. But by the afternoon, river levels across the state should start to recede. Around the country tomorrow, partly cloudy and 21 degrees in Adelaide, 28 and sunny in Perth, showers and storms in Darwin, a top of 32, showers in Brisbane, 21 with showers in Sydney, and it will be a partly cloudy day in Canberra, heading for a top of 20 degrees. Back home, there'll be some patchy morning fog around the state and some light showers on and south of the ranges. They'll mostly clear in the afternoon. It will remain cool in the south. There will be a little more sunshine though, 15 in Ballarat and Aireys Inlet. It'll be warmer and partly cloudy in the north. Maximums will reach the low 20s along the Murray. It'll be a cool morning around town with cloud increasing and there's the chance of a light shower, but only a millimetre or 2. Winds will be light and most spots will warm up to 17 degrees, although Kilmore is in for a much colder day again. So after a low of 9 degrees, the city will climb to a top of 16 tomorrow. Then it'll be partly cloudy on Tuesday with a top of 18 degrees. Morning fog and a mostly cloudy day on Wednesday, 18. Partly cloudy and 18 again on Thursday. Then showers look to return on Friday, a top of 21 degrees. There's up to 5 millimetres possible. It'll be cooler again by next Saturday, showers and 16. And at this stage, it looks like there's a high chance of showers in Brisbane for the grand final. It'll be warm and humid, and there might even be some rumbles of thunder. After dipping to 9 degrees tonight in the city, it'll be a partly cloudy day start to the working week with a top of 16. There's the chance of some brief morning showers, but it will be a nice afternoon to go for a 25-kilometre walk perhaps, and we can take as long as we like, Alicia.
Sounds perfect. All right, Maddie, thank you very much for that. Now, Tara Brown is here now with a preview of tonight's 60 Minutes.
Thanks, Alicia. Tonight.
Wait a minute. I mean, all I have to do is move to Puerto Rico. I don't have to pay any federal income tax.
The hunt for missing millions.
Nobody has told us that we've done anything wrong.
Why the tax office is targeting...
Your bank's at the centre of the biggest tax evasion investigation in the world.
I haven't benefited one nickel.
This bank in paradise.
Are you making an allegation against my bank? That's it. I'm done.
And why tax cheats should be worried.
We are coming for them.
That's tonight after the block. Back to you, Alicia.
And that is 9 News this Sunday. I hope you have a great evening. For now, good night.